Hello, good afternoon. Okay, so how is your project going on? Have you started? Have you people started working on your project? Yes, no, maybe something. Can you please update in the chat box? कुछ प्रोजेक्ट पे काम चालू किया आप लोगों ने? Have you made some progress? Something? Okay, when are you planning to do? मार्च खत्म होने आ रहा है. आई गेस मई 15 तक आपका फाइनल होगा. So you hardly have got 1.5 month to complete. Okay, see. Okay, so last time we were working on our application, correct? And I am supposed to show you today कि इसको database को हम लोग कैसे connect करेंगे and how do we work on this one, right? This is what we have planned for today, so that backend part can be taken care of and you people can start working on it. Have you started creating the models of your project? आपने अपना model बना दिया project का? If you look at what do I have? What was that Trello, right? We have created the board and we created the model. So हम लोग ने if I look at okay, let us see at the ER diagram what we were planning to do. So today we will be starting with the understanding how to connect with the database. Yeah, हम लोग को अभी database connectivity करना है यहाँ पे. Okay, so when it comes to the database, what we were creating, this was my library database. Okay, so if I look at my ER diagram, we had books, this many books, and now this program, this particular thing, what I'll do is I will convert that into a code which will allow me to write it in the backend. Okay, so you know what you have, I am trying going to try something live here. Uh, okay, let us try to install GitHub Copilot plugin from here. See, this will be, if you utilize AI, you will be able to do your application much more faster. Any one of you is planning to use AI in your project, like this way, code generation and everything? Okay, yeah, that will be better. It will be much more faster. See, I think out of so many trainings I have done, आप लोग के बैच के पास बहुत ही अच्छा लेवरेज है कि यू पीपल कैन एक्सप्लोर AI to the best. Let me sign into GitHub. Mm, Why do I not find it? 1172. Okay, now let's see. There is, see, this is where my copilot is, and I can actually write certain codes in my copilot. For example, usually the option is Control I. I have to check that. I have to convert this particular class. Okay, let's see the plugin setting. Okay, this is how to give display suggestions. Press tab to insert into editor. Alt to cycle through alternatives. Okay. To convert the current class to use JPA annotations to map the class in a database in a PostgreSQL table. Okay, where do I start my settings? Okay, one last change, and then see, this is also now you have got how to integrate Copilot with IntelliJ. It's a simple implementation. Okay, so my IntelliJ have started. Okay, see, now what it is doing is it is updating the class for me where I want to write my code for the backend, where I will be now integrating. See, first it has brought in the entity, then the table, and the generation type. You remember we did this in Hibernate in last semester. You remember that we use this sort of annotations in Hibernate. This is an extension of Hibernate. Do you sort of remember that we have done that in the last semester? Yes, no, something. Okay. Now what I will explain first, let me explain you how does that work, and then let me just use this and show you in the code. See, what exactly happens here is you have a Java class. The Java class is named as book, and then you have a backend database in PostgreSQL, and it has a table by the name of. It has a backend of the table by the name of book. Now, when you create the connection between these two, the connection is what? Rather than writing the queries, we will just use something called as Java Persistence API. Java Persistence API, at least for basic CRUD operations, will allow you to connect these two. For example, variables here will connect to the fields there. Okay, the variables here will be able to connect to the fields there. So for that reason, what I have to do is, okay, I can ask them I want to work with PostgreSQL and Spring Data JPA. Can you please give me code for can you give me form.xml dependency, because we need to add the dependency, right? And settings for application dot properties. Okay. So apart from the other dependencies, what we need to add here is there are these two more dependencies, and in the application properties, we'll have to add this. So let us start with that. I will take this dependency. Are you understanding this approach? What I'm doing? So this Copilot chat is more or less like I am using in my, it's like a chat application or Copilot. I can actually use that in the codes as well. I have to just check that, but this is how I can use my code. So now I'll go back to my form.xml because I have not added the data runtime dependency. So I'll add this dependency quickly here. First, I add the dependency. Once I add this particular dependency, what will I do? I will go to Maven and I will reload my application. Yeah, see, it is reloading here. After that, once everything is done, see, this red will become black. That means the dependency is resolved. Next, I have to make the settings, make the changes in my application.properties, which I have added earlier only the server port. Now let me add the other things. Okay, so here in my application.properties, they say I'll have to add these values. What are those? See, these are the values I need to add up here now. First is Spring data source URL, JDBC, your source name, then username, password of the database, then this is the driver name, and this is the update, and this is my PostgreSQL database. So what is the name of my database here? It is running on 5432, and the name of my database is library. Username is Postgres. Password is, usually my password is admin. Okay, usually my password is admin. After I do this, and if I run my application, let's see what happens. See, it says driver is connected, database version is this, auto commit, the levels they have updated. It is connected to the database at this point. Yeah? It has connected to the database at this point. Are you understanding how we connect to the backend here? So here, these are the settings we have to provide in my application.properties, where it will be able to connect to the backend. Now, once I connect to the backend, what I will do next is I will have to go to my book.java file. That is done. So I will have to update the changes here. Yeah, I'll have to update my changes so that book get connected to my backend with the same name and everything. So here also, you can add the database from here itself. You need to add a, but I don't think. Can any one of you check please and let me know if you're using the community edition, right? I'm not sure whether this feature is available in the community edition. Do you have the setting of database on the right side where you can go and add the database? Can please let me know, will be great. Do you have this option of database? Can anyone please help me? Is anyone checking at least that? Let me know that much. If not, I'll directly start now anyhow. See, what happens even if you don't have it, you don't need to connect the database from here, but there is an option of connecting the database directly from your IntelliJ itself. I can just click on adding a data source, and I say that I have a PostgreSQL database. Here, my username is Postgres, password is admin, and database. Okay, let me see this much connection is first working or not. So that is connected. I guess my database name is library, right? So I can create a data source for library. I apply, I say okay. And then once I go here, see under the Postgres public, I need to connect to my library. Where is my table? They load all the tables from here as well. The name of our database is library, right? Okay. So here I'm checking my library database. I can say show tables. Okay, I think there is some mistake I must have done here while connecting in the database. Usually, this is how we connect to the database. Okay, let's not worry about this right now. This is something utility tool which we can get from IntelliJ. But apart from that, what we are going to do next is we are going to write our book is already there. Let me just write the book file and convert it to using the annotation. So how what are the annotations we need? See, yeah, I already added. Okay, this is what I want to do. So I want you to check out the annotations which we are using right now. first annotation will apply here is on the top of the book. We'll call it as what? At entity. And this entity will come from Jakarta.persistence. Okay. Why is it not? Yeah, it has loaded on the top already. See, the first annotation we'll use here is what? Entity. Then the second annotation we'll use here is what? We'll tell them that we have a table by name book, and we'll import this table, which will also come from Jakarta persistence. Okay, so we are telling them the name of the book is this. Then we have to specify the ID. So the ID, the primary key ID, we'll have to specify. So I'll copy this, use this, and then make an import here. Jakarta persistence, generated value, generation type, Jakarta persistence. And this is the unnecessary thing which was creating the issue. So this is, we are telling them that this is my ID. So see, book ID is my primary key. Then for every other part, what we are doing, we are telling them this is my column, title column, and I mark it as what? Name is title. What is the name in the backend? This name is telling what is the name in the backend. Same way, we are checking the backend and we are updating the values here till you are added on. Okay, so now see, even this is telling me that we are connected with the backend, and same way we are planning the, like, these are all the values. Then we are saying ISBN should be unique, that is, it is true. Then published year, what year it is published, total stock, available stock, and so on. Okay, so this is how the step one we do is we apply all the annotations. Then I want to now connect to the backend. So for connecting with the backend, I will have to go and write my repository, which is kept blank for now. Now here comes the magic of JPA. See how it will be like. We'll write an interface, call it as what? Book repository. Okay, we'll call it as book repository. And under book repository, first thing I'll mark it as what? At repository. And then inside this, I will say this class extends, this interface actually extends what? See, it extends JPA repository. For which class? I'm writing this for book class. And what is the type of the primary key there? It is integer. We are specifying that. And you know what will happen the moment I do this much part? I have got 5 functions which are easily available for me. Okay, how many functions I have got now? 5 functions. I have not even written a single function. But now if I go to service and I say I want the list of all the books, right? What is the first thing I'll do? You remember from last time, the call goes from controller to service. Now service will connect to repository. So for that reason, I will say what? Book repository, and then public void set book repository at book repository. So automatically, because Spring Boot knows that this is the repository, it will automatically bring your data to you. Now, instead of saying return the list of the book, what I will do is I'll say return book repository dot get all. Find all will actually return the list of the book, and it is an inbuilt method. Yeah, it is an inbuilt method which is given, the overriding is also given to you by Spring, so you don't have to worry about that. Now you want to find one individual book. At this point, what will you do now? You'll say return book repository find by ID. What is that ID? Whatever ID you have got, or else return null. Then I want to add a book. At this point, what I'll say, book repository dot save. It will give me a book back. And see, this returns the object which is added. So if I get a book object back, then I'll say if added book is not equal to null, then we'll say book is added directly using this. Or else return null after this point. Then when I want to update book, what I'll do is book repository dot save. See, just as a safe side, what will I do? Book dot set book id for id which I am giving, and then I'll say, because this contain the updated book value, so I'll say book repository dot save the book, and this will also return the updated book. And then I say else I return null. Okay, and then I want to delete a book, so I will say uh, book repository delete by id, and then I return this book. And now at this point I don't need this code which I've written in the static, because right now I will connect to the backend directly. I will connect to the backend directly. So at this point, what do I do next is, okay, so it is now connected. If I execute this now, and if I go to this URL where I'll find my Swagger, see, if I try to get all the books right now, it will give me blank. It is because, yeah, because that this dot book repository. Okay, let me see if there is any error here. Oops, yeah, I forgot to add AutoWired, which is why it was not updating as a book. Okay, so if I go back, refresh, and now if I say give me all the books, it should give blank. That means there is no problem with it's connecting with the database. Let us add some books. So here also see, if you know how to use the chats properly, I am doing this on purpose. See, this is the first one. Let me start using this. So if I go back to Swagger now and I say I want to add a book, and I say execute. Okay, some error occurred. Okay, it says the staff ID is not present in the, because we have created primary key foreign key relations here. Yeah, we have created primary key foreign key and I require a staff ID here, and staff ID is not added. So what I'll do is, just to make this code go properly ahead, I will just add one staff into this table. Okay, let me add. Where is the edit option? Okay, insert into staff, and I'll just pass on the IDs as, let's say, 1 comma Alex comma role is a librarian, and email is, let's say, alex@gmail.com, and then I execute this. So one query is added, and now if I go back into my Swagger and I say, while I'm passing the data, if I say my staff ID is 1 and I execute again, so this time it says book is added with ID 2. So if I go back now and if I check in my books, see, the clean code book has been added. Now I use the same stuff and I say, uh, let me add more books. Only thing is, I'll have to do is change my book ID to like staff ID to 1 again. Consider single staff is adding that much records. So this is done. Okay. Then I've got design patterns. Just showing you that how we are adding the books, and this all record is getting dumped into the backend. So that is good. Okay. So now I have added these books, and now if I go and tell them that I want to find this, let's say I want to find all books. So if I say execute, so this time I will get IDs are what, 2, 3, 5, 6. Yeah, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Now at same time, if I go here and say I want to find the book on ID, let's say 4, it says, see, no book is found. But if I change that to 5, see, I'm getting the refactoring by Martin Fowler. And if I want to, let's say, update the book and update the stock of this book at ID, let's say 8, I will take this response body. And when I want to update the book, so I want to say that this is the book at ID 5. But instead of Martin Fowler refactoring, let's say I want to update the name of the book to new, and I execute. See, this time it says it has updated the ID. And now if I go and fire book 5, see, it is saying, and in fact also in the backend, where is the refresh icon here? Okay, see, all the books have been added. So are we clear how do I make use of database here? Have you understood how easily I was able to connect with the database? See, use based upon the time you have, I would recommend using this sort of application for your updates for your project. I will commit this to the repo. Can I expect you people to at least complete this when we meet next? Like the database connectivity for your tables. At least CRUD operation to complete kar lo. Is that a possibility that I can expect you people to complete? Yes, no, maybe something. See, I have pushed the code and okay. Are we clear? At least some response would be appreciated. Okay, that's good then. Yeah, so I have updated this code. Do you want me to give this repository link to you? Did you find using see, can we use AI in your projects? Why not uh, give that a try? You have seen how I've integrated this project in the project. I have given you the repository link in the chat box. Okay, I have shared the repo link in the chat. Yeah. So can I expect that when we meet next, use Sufyan, use whatever you want, no problem at all. See, when it comes to project, give the delivery. Yeah, you have to generate the optimal output. Okay, you can even use AI to generate your backend. C कॉन्सेप्ट समझो इधर कैसे होगा. या आपको जो बैकएंड यूज करना है यूज करो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. या आई हैव नो प्रॉब्लम एट ऑल ऑन व्हाट बैकएंड यू पीपल आर यूजिंग. ओनली थिंग इज आप लोगों को मेक श्योर करना पड़ेगा कि आप लोग अंधाधुन कॉपी मत करो. ठीक है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल ये जो पूरा एप्लीकेशन में बना रहा हूँ, ठीक है, इसको मैं एक चैट जीपीटी के प्रॉम्प्ट से बना सकता हूँ. ठीक है, अब आप लोग को ये समझना है कि प्रोजेक्ट अभी वाईसीएमयू के लिए क्लियर करना है आपको या अंडरस्टैंडिंग के साथ आगे जाना है. ठीक है, अगर आपको प्रॉम्प्ट लिखना आता है तो आपको पता होगा कि आपको कॉन्सेप्ट पता है, कोड पता है, यू विल बी एबल टू राइट एनीथिंग यू वांट, बट उसको चलाना आना चाहिए ना. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आपका एक नोड बेस्ड एप्लीकेशन है, अब नोड बेस्ड एप्लीकेशन को आपको अगर चलाना ही नहीं आता है, देखो कोड तो बहुत इजीली जनरेट होगा. देखना है आपको, मैं आपको, डू यू वांट मी टू शो यू हाउ टू जनरेट कोड्स लाइक चैट जीपीटी यूज करके? हाउ विल यू जनरेट द कोड, होल कोड एंड टू एंड? यू वांट टू सी दैट? आई कैन शो यू, नो प्रॉब्लम. जावा का एप्लीकेशन चल रहा है, मैं जावा पे आपको बता सकता हूँ. ठीक है, देखो, लेट्स गिव इट अ ट्राई. बट वो एप्लीकेशन में यूज कहाँ कैसे करना है ये तो आपको, ओके, यू वांट टू डू दैट इन नेक्स्ट सेशन, आई डोंट हैव एनी प्रॉब्लम, वी कैन डू दैट इन नेक्स्ट सेशन. ठीक है, एप्लीकेशन अभी मैंने डेटाबेस वगैरह आपको बता दिया है, इसको ट्राई करो, यूज करो एंड स्टार्ट वर्किंग ऑन दिस. ओके, So let's see when we will be doing next session. स्टार्ट मतलब मैं एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा हूँ कि नेक्स्ट टाइम जब आप मुझे मिलो तो बैकएंड आपका ऑलमोस्ट कंप्लीशन मोड पे होना चाहिए. ठीक है. ओके देन, थैंक यू सो मच. हैव अ ग्रेट डे.